as well.
I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for your time. I have a couple things I want to say, but first I really want to commend Kate Williams for her statement. I very much agree with that and the problems with Uber and Lyft. I've lived in this city for over 10 years, and as a wheelchair user, I have noticed a drastic increase in my own safety with Uber and Lyft. I'd like to point out in 2017, British Parliament in London, the Regulatory Agency of Transportation in London actually banned Uber for, quote, a lack of corporate responsibility. That ban was overturned in 2018, and of course this is not British Parliament here, but I would like to just point out that there is precedent of cities taking some measures to make sure that the pedestrians are safe. I would also like to point out that I have had friends that work for Uber and Lyft, and that Uber and Lyft does not pay its employees a livable wage. They are essentially a scam, and there's a lot of documentation and evidence for that. I won't go into it, but I think the real issue here is drivers are not being paid enough to drive slowly. They're paid to drive quickly, to get from point A to point B as fast as possible to make enough money to live. So if you don't pay them a livable wage to do that, yeah, they're going to drive dangerously, and we are all paying the cost for that. That's all I wanted to say about Uber and Lyft. For Vision Zero, I think this is a great idea. I think we can all agree that pedestrian safety is super important. And I wanted to throw out some concrete ideas I just came up with that, you know, maybe they won't happen today or tomorrow, but they're just ideas we can think about. One is, I can only travel as fast as this mobility scooter will take me. A lot of times that isn't enough time when the light counter starts counting down on a crosswalk. What would it look like to increase those counters, or to have a button for disabled people that adds an extra 5 seconds or 10 seconds so we can cross the street safely? Second idea, what about lights on crosswalks? I know San Mateo and Palo Alto and other cities actually put lighting along the asphalt so that cars can see more visibly, especially at night. The third is, what would it look like to actually create some funding for people with disabilities to affix reflective pieces of material on our mobility devices? The city could have a budget for that. LEDs or other types of things that would help mobility devices be more visible. I have a black mobility chair. It's super dangerous at night when I'm crossing the street. And lastly, you know, I'm a driver. I'm a California state driver. I went to driving school. I learned almost nothing about disabled people getting my driver's license, and about the things I should look out for and the different types of disabilities. And I think there could be a conversation happening with people on the state level about that. And lastly, I want to make sure that Vision Zero also is taking care to look out for communities of color and at-risk communities, and not just affluent communities when we're talking about pedestrian safety. There's somebody that died at a crosswalk near my house, and nobody did anything about it for 10 years. Now that my block has a Porsche and a Tesla and you know, a Land Rover, now all of a sudden we're getting a traffic light. And so I would like to see those kind of changes happen before millionaires live in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.